Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of AgriLife Today. I'm Blair Fannin.
And I'm Kathleen Phillips.
Well, this week we'll hear about mesquite used for electricity generation, plus the recent release of the first peanut genome sequences.
We'll also hear about a study that involves messy diapers, helping scientists understand how mutation helps babies grow into healthy children.
All this and more as we take a look at Texas agriculture and Texas A&M AgriLife across the state. Using mesquite biomass for electricity generation may become economically feasible if ecological and agricultural factors are considered, according to a Texas A&M AgriLife research paper published in Bioenergy Research Journal. The study by a group of AgriLife research scientists at Vernon estimated the long-term economic feasibility of mesquite biomass and electricity production under 5 different harvest scenarios.
If the authors of a recently published book have their way, keeping up with the Joneses may have more to do with who has the cheapest utility bills than who's got the biggest house. The book is called The Housing Bomb: Why Our Addiction to Houses is Destroying the Environment and Threatening Our Society, and is the work of Dr. Tarla Peterson, an AgriLife wildlife professor, and 2 of her colleagues. The book looks at well-meaning but often misguided exploitation of natural resources using examples from the Yellowstone National Park community and China's Wolong Nature Reserve, which is home to the giant panda. Near Yellowstone National Park, it was found that people most concerned with the ecosystems were also the ones who built their houses in the most fragile locations and built big houses with few people living in them, and in places that include wetlands, riparian areas, low elevation hillsides, all critical habitats for many wildlife species, including elk and upland game birds.
Meanwhile, in this week's Texas Crop and Weather Report, there were varied reports of damage to wheat, forages, and fruit and nut crops from the hard freeze on April 15th from AgriLife Extension Service personnel throughout the central Rolling Plains, South Plains, and Panhandle regions. A statewide summary of damage to wheat in those areas is pending. However, Dr. Larry Stein at Uvalde was certain pecan and peach orchards were left mostly unscathed.
A study that began with messy diapers is helping scientists understand how nutrition helps babies grow into healthy children, according to AgriLife research nutritionist Dr. Robert Chapkin.
Historically, we developed a technique more than 15 years ago, at least the first generation of a technique, that would allow us to look inside the intestine of a newborn baby. At the time of birth, it is a point where the human body becomes populated with microbes. And this is because the baby starts to actually consume, and their food drives the populations of microbes that begin to flourish in the baby. And that's part of normal developmental biology. That's the way we've been operating as humans for thousands of years. So the question is, how do you characterize the impact of nutrition on a newborn baby? And our diagnostic is unique because, again, it's non-invasive, and it isolates material, genetic material, from the cells that are actually passed out in the fecal stream. We capture the RNA, ribonucleic acid, from those cells and do something called deep sequencing. We actually sequence the signature of the RNAs in that material. And the whole idea is we can take these genes and basically use them like a map, a constellation, in order to determine how the baby's biology is changing over time. Then, of course, the idea is to use this information in order to optimize treatments to help these babies.
The recent release of the first peanut genome sequences to the public by the International Peanut Genome Initiative should have major effects on Texas peanut production for years to come. Dr. Mark Burrow, AgriLife Research peanut geneticist at Lubbock, and co-workers were part of the International Peanut Genomic Initiative. Burrow said this release is important to both the peanut industry and consumers because having the peanut genome sequence available will allow for faster and more accurate selection of peanuts with improved traits. It will also help with releasing new varieties to improve grower profitability and consumer health. That's a look at agriculture across the state of Texas at Texas A&M AgriLife.
For these stories and more, please visit our website at today.agrilife.org.